Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. First thing I want to discuss today is quite sad news. It's not shocking news. People have had shocking news the last 2 or 3 years. It's sad news. Rabjab's bike was lifted into a fan a couple of days ago, his KTM. It will be horrible news for him. It is horrible news for him, but just in comparison to what people have lost the last couple of years, it's not catastrophic news. The point is, I'm going to put up a picture and the number plate now. Please keep an eye out for the bike. If anyone sees it, sees parts, anything that looks like it, please drop me some sort of link or comment. We're quite keen to get it back because it's hard to explain, but it means a lot to him. So yeah, anyone sees the bike, number plate, any reference online in your area, let us know, and we'd like to get it back. I'm sure we can offer some sort of reward, although it wouldn't be anything significant if I'm being honest. So that's done. I have found a list of the new members, or the members currently. We've got Carlos Technic, Anthony Reddy, Stuart Johns, and Daniel Barnes. Your members, thanks a lot guys, there's your members, shout out. And you actually saw the Keyway Superlight before anyone else did, a week before actually anyone else did. I'm desperately trying to see if I can upload videos for the members only. I'm sure you can, but I'm just working it out. At the moment I just learned how to find your names, and I learned how to put a post up just for you guys only, so you saw that bike, which is quite cool. Other than that, I'm the Motorcycle Rescuer. Welcome to the Motorcycle Rescuer. So yes, welcome back. In the last video you would have seen me detail this bike quite deeply, and that kind of detailing you pay a lot of money for. You pay over £100 actually, normally 120 quid ish, to get that kind of in depth. I spent 3 or 4 hours doing it, stripping the bike down and getting it done. So that's always an option. This channel is about saving money a lot of the time. When you come back and you've used products, you may still see, look, smears. What you need to do is get a very clean microfiber then and buff it out, and that'll get the last remnants of waxes through into the paint and chrome. We got John over here. We're waiting on the well, we're not waiting on, we have been waiting on new specialist coil leads for this bike. We're just unsure about the new ones. It says the right ohms on the cap, but we don't know what's going on inside here. It was never really right up here. So we've got decent ones, new ones. The bike appears to be not running right on the right or left. It was a bit hard to fully work out at times. So we're hoping that there's something in that coil that wasn't right. And at the moment, I think we might be right. I think that coil wasn't right. And we did all of the other stuff like switch them over, but it was just really hard to work out. What I think we should do, John, if we get a minute, is pop the plugs. Yeah. We think the left side's been running well and the right side's not. The left side should then be a bit blacker than the right, so we should have a look at that. I haven't got much time today, guys, but what I want to do between today and tomorrow is get this. I've got some premium fuel there that needs to go in. Get this up and advertised. I've got the logbook. It's got an MOT. It runs and rides beautifully. I think you've just seen in the last video a test run, and it just rode great. It's just a great bike that's ready to go. And then we got the Piaggio over there again, that's up and advertised, and it's just a great bike, up and ready to go. It just does everything we ask of it. Worth every penny of 500 to 600 all day long, because I think it will genuinely run and run and run. But ultimately, at some point, I will be coming back to the lexmoto that's lost its spark. Now, I've been thinking about how I address this with you guys, because when I watch other people's channels, Sam Crack is one, I don't know if anyone watches his car channel, and sometimes Tavash as well. I get really annoyed when they start projects and put them aside and don't come back to them and start new projects. And actually I've done a little bit of that, but I'm going to explain why. It's because you can get overwhelmed. When you've done all the work I did, and this bike was meant to start on the button and go to MOT, it's really, really overwhelming, and it's really annoying when something happens last minute. And it's always okay to put them aside for a couple of weeks. It's only been 2 weeks, but on the channel it will feel a bit longer. So it's been sitting there 2 weeks because we need to readdress why the spark's gone. Now, when you come back to it a couple of weeks later, basically when your other projects have gone, you come back to it with a fresh start and you look everything over as if you're starting again. That could be new wiring looms, it could be CDIs, it could be this, it could be that. So I think it's okay. I think it is going to be a good running bike at some point. I don't care if I have to buy a new CDI, new stator, new loom, everything. It will eventually be a good running bike, is my hopes. So in a couple of minutes, I'm just going to fill up this with some premium. In a couple of minutes, we should be firing up the Triumph, although I might wait until 10 or 11, just a bit more of a reasonable time. And then see if it runs a little bit better. Let's take a poke at the these spark plugs. I'm curious. I'm going to pop them off. This one should be fairly clean, as if it's hardly running. The other side should be kind of more black. Now this one, don't get us wrong, this one was sparking. It was absolutely sparking because it sparked me a couple of times. But it may not have been sparking at its full potential. I don't know what focus is like, guys. What this spark plug is it's dry, clean, and a little bit wet. That absolutely brings me back to the fact that it's probably not sparking as well as it can or should. I think you'll see a very clear difference on the other side. So it's dry, it's clean, and it's wet. That's not been sparking to its full potential at all. Right, 1 minute, I'll pop the other side and I'll show you exactly what a running cylinder will look like. Okay guys, we did a spray check on the carb joints and we felt that we were leaking. We definitely were leaking some air. So we popped the carbs back off. We're using some spare spacers that we have, which are these ones. And we're using some silicone sealant, and we're using the original ones as well. So we're just double whammying this at this stage to make sure it's all sealed and secure when back on the bike. It was definitely running way too lean anyway, and that sucking in the air after the carb really wasn't helping. I really think this is going to feel like a much tighter bike once we get this done.
I've just got to do that then with the pliers.
Yeah, no, I thought you was messing around, John.
I know, I'll waste a bit more time.
I say, John, is the engine revving? And you were going.
Where's the carb tops?
They're over here. They're over here.
I've done your one. I put them on the floor.
So, guys, we were just saying that when we sprayed earlier, we were shocked at how high they did rev. Remember, we've had a bit of a mare with this bike from the beginning. It came with a very weird Makuni setup, and then we had to convert to this setup, which is original Amals, and it's a big learning curve. John was just saying if we were race bike mechanics, that we'd be screwed. But no, we're not race bike mechanics. Actually, we're doing this and learning over time.
We're better.
And we learned a valuable lesson this morning. Way too much air was going through. And it will never be happy like that. Because I kind of took it for a little spin up and down the street earlier, and it was unrideable, really. But with that much air going through, it would be.
The next day.
Okay, so let's catch up on what we're doing today. I've been talking to you guys, some of you guys, on the side about Chinese bikes at the moment, because a few of you are working on them. It is amazing how many people come to my channel because they've got Chinese bike issues. and they all come through my channel. I buy a bike, it needs electric work. I buy a bike, the EFI system's junk. All comes through this channel. Nowadays, get online, guys. Go onto the Lexmoto website, and you're going to see something shocking. You're going to see that all the bikes that used to be £1,800 are now £2,800. The Superlight SE version with the extras is £2,800. The equivalent to these, £2,800. They've gone up £1,000. Now for me, if you're going up £1,000, I want thicker paint. I don't want this to happen. And I want thicker wires. So I've been chatting to you guys. You've been saying what you think should change to justify the extra pay of the Chinese bikes. It is thicker paints everywhere and thicker wiring. The wiring's junk. It's so thin you can just pull it and snap it, and that's where it goes wrong a lot of times. It rubs against something, there's a little slit in it, you create some sort of intermittent fault, and you're driving yourself nuts as to what it is. So currently this bike has an intermittent spark fault, okay? Sometimes it sparks, sometimes it doesn't. The last I looked at it, it just didn't spark at all. I tried a new coil, just catch you guys up, because you have been throwing ideas out there. I have tried a new coil. I should and can and will check that there's current going up to that coil. That's one of the first things I'll do today. But let's just quickly, for all you guys out there who've lost your spark, let's just look at some of the things that can cause that. Okay? The basics, the ones I always look at first, is the side stand switch. It's this switch here. This is a switch. Okay? And if the side stands down, the switch comes out like that, and that creates either a connection or it breaks a connection. Yeah? This has 2 wires, some of them have 3. I very regularly cut them, wire them together, so the switch is a full time, always on, no issues there. Someone else did this, and I don't know exactly where it is, but I think it's done. I think it's this one and it's done. But again, today I'm going to be quite thorough. I'm going to be taking this bike apart and looking at our issues. So the first thing is the side stand switch. Second thing is the kill switch. That can kill spark or fuel pump. The actual ignition switch here can kill spark or fuel pump. It might look like it's all on, but one of the wires could be killing the spark. Now I always do the clutch switch anyway, but I don't think that affects it at start up. I think it will still start on idle. Bikes are different though, so you just can't tell. So they're the main things, all the switches, obviously the wiring loom, obviously the actual coil, obviously anything between the coil and the head. And then the one thing which I'm going to be looking at today mainly is the earthing of the bike. I have a bad feeling about the earthing of this bike, because every now and again I press the button and it doesn't do anything. Now I'll show you, there's an earth down there. I hope you can see that. Can you see that? Oh, it's terrible. There you go. Right, that's an earth, and it's pretty cruddy. So we don't know if that is earthing the loom to the frame. So that's one thing you'd look at. You take that off, you clean it off, and you do it up. What you can also do is just run a separate earth. Find the earthing loom. It's normally green on this bike. Run an earth, and then you can run another earth from the battery earth to the frame. You know, you can do all that to kind of double up on this, but for now, find the actual earths, clean them up. Let's not forget the actual kind of main thing though, which is the stator under here. Yes. Now you have a pickup. You have a pulse, a pickup, and that sends the spark. So that sends the timing of the spark. It's a magnet, and it sends to the normally to the ECU or regulator, and then back to the spark. If for any reason the wires have been caught or broke, or the connections are bad, then you lose spark as well. So under here is a stator, it's called. You also have that on a moped as well. For me, I'm just gonna press the button and see if we got spark. I mean, I was a bit brave last time. I was holding, because you'll feel spark. I mean, I was holding the spark and pressing the button like this, but you don't have to do that. You can put it up against the engine and look for spark. And let's just see what's happening at the moment. I believe the last we left it, yeah, it wasn't even trying to start. I was bridging the gap over here on the solenoid to get the starter, but also this battery is fairly low. What we can do is bridge the solenoid here. You put a something across it that will take away whatever's going on and should send spark. Although technically, if that's not doing it, we have to wonder why that's not doing it. And normally you would get your spark back by bridging all that. You would normally, but you just never know at this point. I am going to grab the car in a minute. I am going to bridge it briefly just to see if we've got any spark back. But I am then going to get the car so that we've got a stronger battery while doing this. Yeah, I mean, absolutely no spark at all there, guys. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull it all apart a little bit. I'm going to kind of go back to basics. Let's pull it all apart a little bit. Let's look for any earths. Let's get them cleaned. I've checked all the fuses, but I have got a new set. I may just chuck in a full new set, although none of them are actually for ignition or spark. And I need to have a little play around, so I'm going to get all this out. I'm going to clean all the wiring, and then we're going to clean any earths, and then we're going to come back to see what's going on.